And welcome back. My name is Uhfgood. I am making a game, and if, I don't know. I don't know if my intro should be that long, especially if I know that it's just going to be on one day. So you're probably seeing this later in the day, and so I don't really have to do that much of an intro. But we'll see here. In any case, um, now we're gonna actually get to the business of actually working on the story here. First thing I guess I want to do is go ahead and start this, and go ahead and start this, and I'll go ahead and mute that, and then I will go ahead and get to the game. Okay, actually let's do something here. Let's resize. Whoop. Let's resize that a little bit. And move this over just a little touch, just like that. And there. Okay, so let's go back to the story page. And okay, so basically the deal here is that we have to cover these points. So that's when halfway he gets the news about everything's, I put of the resort hub, but that's in the Belfry Hotel. I was actually going to say motel, but I don't know if people are actually using vehicles to get there. So motel, hotel, that's in the Belfry Motel. That's in Belfry Hotel. Why not call it motel? Anyways, it's not actually going to be in the resort hub. That's going to be off somewhere. I mean, that's kind of the part of the deal. Is it's in a bad place. He sets it up somewhere, outside. So, so let's okay. So let's do something here. Okay, part 1. Halfway finds out the major schools, hotels, and dining places are closed up or being used for different purposes, because the night school, anyways, Scarborough Fair Chicken's still open. The night school is training people with real weapons, and you hear about real dragons. So real dragons start roaming land, and tourists seem to be disappearing, and he's gonna go underground and find out that these tourists are being used as slaves to work the mines, and it's I gotta put it in there somewhere. Otherwise, I'll just probably forget it. Like, I'll do these points and then I'll completely not have what I wanted in there originally. Tourists seem to be disappearing. What else? So I'm just kind of discovering. Okay. Actually, let's do it differently. I wanted to summarize, right? Closed up being used, real dragons start roaming, tourists seem to be disappearing. Halfway gets fired. And Maximilian's. I know it sounds kind of lame when I say it. but I don't know, cartoon character. Maybe I'll change the name later. Halfway gets fired, and Maximilians has now bought Enchanted Lands, and the king seems to be acting strangely. Okay, so that is it in a nutshell. This is kind of a summary, right? A summary of the story. Now we actually need to get into plot points. I need an inciting incident. I need a plot point 1. I need a mid turning point. I need a plot point 2, and then we have the climax and resolution, which because all I put up here is all I put up here was just that John Thomas enters, right? And then part 2 doesn't even have a plot point of the whole story. In part 2, John and Halfway discover that Maximilian is none other than the previously banished sorcerer Maximilian Spell. Also, the tourists who are taken are now zombified slaves. Okay. And not typical zombies, not movie, horror movie zombies. Zombified in the classical sense, meaning they've been hypnotized, or they've been essentially kind of taken over, and they're susceptible to their master's whim, basically. So that would be Max, and that he has to do with them. Now, there is a problem here for me, and that is I have the characters. I have Violet Moonshadow, which is Max's right-hand woman. She makes decisions with them, and she does a few things. I can't remember now. I have to actually go back to my description of her. And then we have Barty the gnome, which is essentially the henchman. He's the muscle, even though he's a little gnome. He's pretty mean. He's pretty strong, and he basically does all the dirty work, beating people up and disappearing people and all this kind of cruel stuff. And actually, Barty turns out to be king of the gnomes, and the gnomes and the dwarves had a long-standing feud. Gnomes are really, really greedy, and they also have their own minds. And then, of course, the dwarfs' minds are they're more welcoming. In fact, in a normal operation, tourists can actually go in and mine for precious jewels and stuff themselves if they want to, and everything's cool except for what's happened lately. They've kind of become hermits. They stopped letting people in, and I need to put that in here too somewhere. I'm not sure where exactly, but I'll try to refer back, and I'll try to develop it in such a way where I get everything that I wanted in there. And maybe it won't. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe some things will get dropped by the wayside just because of how I'm developing it, and just because of my brain's everywhere and all that stuff. So, but hopefully everything will be kind of cool with about that. Hopefully I'll figure that. Okay, so this involves some investigation here that John and Halfway discover Maximilian's, right? And so we know that. Okay, and the midpoint revolves around the giant machine, which makes you have to go into the kingdom of the gnomes. The only way you can do that is by going through the dwarves caves, the dwarf mines, and then there'll be like a secret entrance or some sort of deal like that. In fact, probably part of the game will involve getting in there through the dwarves caves, which they're not letting anybody in right now. So you'll figure out how that works. And In fact, that's also where you're gonna find out about Roland the oversized dwarf, and basically he's about the size of a 6 foot year old, 6 foot tall man, but he's actually a little child, and his dad was a giant, and his mom was a dwarf. Uh, so he's been searching for his dad. In fact, later on, we'll probably find out that that his dad has something to do with the machine. I won't say more than that right now, but as you know, I'm sharing everything with you, so that if you deign to watch my videos, then you can be privileged to the story. Of course, you might not want to know the story. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I should find some way of designating story videos so that you don't really so you don't have to watch those if you don't want it spoiled for you. I just figure that anybody that's interested in making games and are watching it just to make a game, or just to know how others make a game, that you're not as interested in playing it as you are in learning how it's built. So that's kind of how I justify it. And so everybody else, though, of course, won't know it unless they watch the videos, or unless they accidentally happen on one video and they didn't mean to. In which case, I'm sorry to you guys, but whatever. So, but basically, you'll find Roland in there, and that has to do with the dwarf mines. But so, and figuring out his plan is the midpoint, right, of the whole game. And part two, the actual part two of the game, you're discovering this. This could be actually technically a plot point, even though it's not really a plot point. Or it can be, because you're just figuring out stuff, right? The actual first plot point is actually John entering in because Halfway he wants somebody from the outside to come in, and so he has a fresh pair of eyes and a different perspective, and that was actually going to be the big plot point. This could actually be plot point one here, and the inciting incident could be that other. But the inciting incident, the thing that sets it all in motion, is really just the fact that Halfway gets fired, and it's just really weird, and that King acts really strange and stuff. And he sold Enchanted Lands to this guy, and he Halfway knows he would never do that. So there's something definitely wrong. So that's why this is not a plot point exactly. In any case, so I guess I didn't get a lot of work done here, but I did get the summary here, and I kind of got stuff out of the way, out of my head, and we're gonna in the next video I'm going to actually start creating plot points. It's the plot points that gets when John enters the realm that gets to the point of discovering that who Maximilian's actually is and where the tourists have gone. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. The climax will be the climax of I don't know. Climax resolution is just what happens after. So this won't exactly have a resolution. It'll just be the climax. It'll be like it'll be like a cliffhanger sort of. But the climax is when they discover all this stuff. They find out this information. So part one is just going to be finding out what happened to everything, and I will address that in the next video. So I guess I will see you then. So thanks for watching.